Good morning. So something strange happened yesterday. I'll tell you about this. First, I want to talk about Britain. So there's this big, huge free speech rally coming up in London on Saturday, 13th of September, 8 a.m., Westminster. Right? I know it's going to be big. You know, you can say, well, free speech is threatened in Britain. Well, they already did it, didn't they? They destroyed it. So it already happened. So this is a fantastic rally. I know it's going to be huge. Right. And then I saw you can also go there. If you don't want to protect free speech, fight for free speech in Britain, you can also go there to fight racism. It's true. I saw this, for instance, from Leeds. You can get a ticket. It's only £22. You get on a couch, you go down to London to fight racism. Same day, of course. It's this association, Stand Up to Racism. And I was reading on their website. I thought it was hilarious. SUTR, Stand Up to Racism. This is what they say about it, right? They start off with this, Nazi. It's like the first word. Nazi, Tommy Robinson. I think it's so funny, actually. Nazi Tommy Robinson called on his supporters to march in London on the 13th of September in a bid to revive a fascist movement. It's not about free speech, no. You know, I think it's just funny because they are targeting Tommy Robinson only. And of course, there's tons of people here associated with this rally, right? Because free speech is an issue in Britain, definitely. See, all these people, right? Anyway, so they are just making him more powerful, right? Because they put him there as the target, and he's becoming more and more popular because he's correct, right? So they are stupid, aren't they? They talk about Tommy Robinson. They say he said in a social media post while he stood outside of prison. He was just released from prison. And he said, there is a war being waged in Britain. It is being waged by our leaders, and it is a war against free speech. Of course, this is correct, right? Anybody with a mind, working, functioning mind, can see this, right? But they say, no. This is not a rally for free speech. That's what they say on this website. But actually, it is to build a fascist street movement. And now they want people to come down there. Right? I think it's good that they come down. You know, the more attention that this gets, the better, I think. So you don't want to go there to London on the 13th of September to rally for free speech. You can rally against it, right? It's good. All right, so I'll tell you about this strange thing that happened yesterday. My girlfriend and I, we went to this art show, and my girlfriend participated in it. It was like 30, 40 artists participating in this show. I was not there. I was not participating. But we went there. And we were looking around, and then almost all of my attention went to one painting. It's not a painting, it was a poster, right? Poster of a painting. And I thought it was brilliant. So I was standing there and talking to my girlfriend, and we were talking about this piece of art. And I wanted to meet the people who made it, or the person who made it. And they were standing right there, behind us. Right? It was this young couple, or younger, maybe 35 years old or something. And it was the lady, the woman, who made the piece of art. And we started talking about it. And we just kept talking. And after a while I asked them, so you are not vaccinated, are you? I said, no, of course not. We didn't take the needle. And both of them said it. And I thought that was interesting. That piece of art and talking to them just made it very clear that they were not vaccinated. So we talked about this. So that was the first thing that happened. And then we got to talk to another person. And this is a lady that we know very well. She's a friend, actually. And we know that she's a pureblood. And we got to talk, and then she said, well, she said her ex is almost a pureblood. She said, he's almost not vaccinated. Her ex. And he was there, right? And I said, what's that? Almost not vaccinated, what's that? Well, he took the vaccine, but he regrets it. Well, that doesn't really qualify for a pureblood, right? But that's what she said. And then this man came over, and we started talking to him. And then I said, I have this new thing that I'm doing. It's got some weird reactions. Strange things happen. Good things, I think. I have this attitude towards people. I consider them best friends. Anybody, right? And I can say whatever I want to them. That's the attitude. So that's what I do. So I said, I heard this about you. I told this guy who came over, I said, I heard this about you, that you're almost not vaccinated. And he said, what? No. And there was some nervous laughter, and he was sort of trying to hide. It was not comfortable for him, you see. There's lots of people there, right? People that he knew, of course. And he didn't want people to know, I suppose. But, he's sort of whispering, this guy. And we started to talk about group pressure and different stories, right? And it turns out that he was pretty critical to the vaccine. And then his mother came along. And she heard what we were talking about, and she said, well, I got sick. I got all kinds of problems after taking the COVID vaccine. And her son, who was standing there, he said, what? And it was like he didn't know, right? And she said, yeah, I was doing great. I was doing fine. I was walking around. I was doing great. And then I took the vaccine. And then I had to go to the hospital over and over and over again. I got all kinds of problems, right? So she was talking about this too. And people around us were listening, of course. Now, this was a good conversation. And usually when you talk to people at an event like this, it's sort of superficial, not much going on, really, right? But this conversation was different, right? We were talking about the real stuff, what's going on with our lives, We talk about group pressure, propaganda, stuff like this. The good stuff, right? So I thought that was great. It was a great time. I had a good time there. I thought about the other ones. I mean, the vaccinated people, the obedient people. I thought maybe they were looking at this and they said, what's with these people? They seem to get along very well. They talk about serious matters. They talk about good stuff, right? And they are not vaccinated, right? Right. Be good.